Their performances are famous, but you might not know who they are, at least not yet. Let's take a look behind the masks of some of the most famous horror movie villains like Michael Myers in Halloween and Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, or the man that played Freddy Krueger all by himself in over 7 Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Who do you think is the most iconic horror character? Starting us off, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise in It 2017 and Tim Curry as Pennywise It 1990. Let's start with a scary movie that has been getting a lot of attention recently. This new movie is based on the classic horror book It by Stephen King. In September, it will be shown in theaters. We don't know if the new version will be as popular as the first one, which came out in 1990, but we do know it will be scary as hell. Even just the trailer has scared us to death, and that's just the trailer. Pennywise the Clown, the main bad guy in the movie, will be played by Bill Skarsgård, who is young and surprisingly good looking. Who would have thought someone so beautiful could be hiding behind that scary face? Billy gets into this role, and we wouldn't be surprised if he scared some of his co-stars to death. In the 1990 version of It, Tim Curry played Pennywise the Clown. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Curry's portrayal of Pennywise is why so many kids and grown-ups are afraid of clowns. He gave the performance of a lifetime, and everyone who has seen the movie remembers that image. Curry's Pennywise looked like a child's birthday party gave birth to the worst nightmare ever. Curry's portrayal of this terrible bad guy has made him the perfect scary clown. This is the kind of bad guy who doesn't even have to do anything or have strange powers. Just looking at him gives you the creeps. Next, Bonnie Aarons as Valak in The Conjuring 2 2016 and Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street 1984. The Conjuring 2 is a scary movie about a married couple of paranormal investigators who look into strange things that happen in North London. The movie is full of demons and people who've been taken over by them. But the demon nun named Valak is the scariest of them all. This scary nun was played by an actress who is best known for small parts in movies like Mulholland Drive, The Princess Diaries, and The Fighter. Bonnie Aarons is an American actress who was often told she wouldn't be able to make it in Hollywood because of how she looked and because her nose was broken. They were wrong though. The Conjuring 2 gave her her first big break. In this movie, her looks and her nose turned out to be a big plus, so take that, casting directors. Robert Englund is the actor who played Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is one of the most famous bad guys in movies. Krueger is a terrifying demon that chases people in their dreams. If he kills someone in a person's dream, that person will also die in real life. Freddy Krueger does all of his terrible things to get back at his parents who burned him alive when he was a child. Even though it sounds horrible, people liked watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. Around the world, the movie made more than $450 million at the box office, and Robert Englund became known as one of the scariest actors right away. Since then, he's been in a number of other movies and TV shows, but his role as the creepy serial killer is still his best. Moving on, Davi Chase as Samara in The Ring 2002 and Bonnie Morgan as Samara in Rings 2017. The Ring. Right, people in an old town are told not to watch a video that's going around, but in the style of a classic horror movie, they end up watching it anyway and are cursed because of it. Of course, the people who might be cursed don't think they're cursed, that is, until the phone soon rings and a scary voice tells them they only have 7 days to live. The person always dies 7 days after that, and the cycle keeps going. The scariest thing about The Ring, though, is the little girl who comes out of the TV and kills people who watch it. Samara, the creepy girl with long black hair who gave many of us bad dreams, is played by Davi Chase. When the movie was made, she was only 11 years old. Critics loved her performance, though, and Chase beat out Daniel Day-Lewis from Gangs of New York to win the 2003 MTV Movie Award for Best Villain. This is the most recent movie about Yare, a ghost in Japanese mythology who kills people out of revenge. The movie Rings came out in February of this year, and its poster is one of the coolest things about it. Do you remember the girl who looked scary and had her body bent in the strangest way? It looked really creepy. Many people, myself included, thought it was a drawing or a Photoshop picture because it looked like no one could bend that way in real life. But on the other hand, Bonnie Morgan, who played Samara in the movie Rings, is also a contortionist, which means she can bend her body in any way she wants. If you want to learn the same thing, keep these things in mind. Bonnie Morgan grew up in a circus family, so she learned to bend her body when she was very young. So you could say she's been getting ready for this role her whole life. Next up, Ari Lehman as Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, 1980, and Dane Farwell as Ghostface in Scream, 1996. Most of us know Jason from the movie Friday the 13th as a man who wears a hockey mask and likes to kill people. But there was another Jason before this one came into the story and started doing bad things. In one scene, we see him in a flashback with Jason's mother, Pamela Voorhees. Ari Lehman, an American actor, composer, and artist, played 10-year-old Jason, and since then, Lehman hasn't had any major roles and has only been in a few independent and short films. However, he's been working hard on his music career. For example, after he played Jason in Friday the 13th, he was, in a good way, inspired by the role to start a punk metal band called First Jason. He even even gave their first album the name Jason Is Watching. Scream was one of the most popular movies of 1996, and it is still the most popular slasher movie in the world. It's funny and scary at the same time, and uses a lot of horror movie tropes while being aware of them. It also has a good story. Since the main bad guy's face was never shown, we didn't know who played Ghostface, but it turns out Ghostface was played by more than one stuntman. Dane Farwell is one of them who stands out. He was the one who made the serial killer come to life and gave him his habits. It was also Farwell's idea that the killer would clean the knife with his thumb and index finger after killing someone, which was a disturbing move. Creepy. Finally, Arthur Roberts as Radford in Midnight Movie 2008 and Tom Fitzpatrick as Bride in Black in Insidious Chapter 2 2013. In 2008, Midnight Movie came out. It tells the story of how Ted Bradford, who directed and starred in the horror movie The Dark Beneath 40 years ago, scared a group of people. Radford is taken to a psychiatric ward at the start of the story because he has a mental breakdown, and even though Radford told his doctor not to, he shows him the movie he made. The next morning, the doctor finds signs that a lot of people were killed in his ward, but no bodies. After 5 more years, The Dark Beneath is shown in a small theater, and the scary stuff starts up again. Real life and the world of the movie mix, and Radford comes out of the screen to kill people who came to see the movie he made years ago. Spooky. The second movie in the Insidious series is called Insidious Chapter 2. In this supernatural horror film, a married couple tries to figure out why they have ties to the spirit world. The Bride in Black, a serial killer who wears a black wedding dress, is the main bad guy in the movie. The Bride in Black can take over the bodies of people and move very quickly. When you first see this horrible creature, it's hard to tell if it's a man or a woman, and it turned out that it was a man both in the movie and in real life. The movie was about a man whose mother hurt him mentally by making him act like a girl. This role was played by an actor named Tom Fitzpatrick, who was 72 years old at the time. Tom Fitzpatrick has been in both short and long films as well as on stage. Unfortunately, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and until next time, cheers.